Hello guys, I have tried all possible ways to boost testosterone naturally, and I'm gonna tell you how I have raised it from 379 grams to 959 grams. And I will tell you why the amount of testosterone in fact is not the most important factor. There was a very interesting study which shows that since 1980 the average testosterone level of modern men is constantly falling down every year. And this means that an average 30 years old man in 2023 has 43% less testosterone than the same man in 1980. Just think about that, it's almost half as much. If we Google the normal testosterone level right now, we will find out that it is 300 or even 270 nanograms, and nobody cares that this is normal for 60 years old men, not for you. And this is actually a very huge problem, because when a man suffers from insecurity, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, instead of taking care of his hormones, his sleep, his diet, he just goes to these specialists who say, "Oh boy, depression is a common disease nowadays. Here you go, here's some pills, antidepressants, see ya." I personally went through all of this, and the funny part is that till I dig into this issue myself and fully sorted it out, no doctor, no psychiatrist or other specialist gave me really useful recommendations or instructions. So, we want to raise your testosterone, and it is very important to understand that testosterone level is affected by a huge number of factors. So we will consider some basic recommendations. So I get this kind of typical question sometimes. Greg, what kind of supplement should I drink to raise my testosterone level? So dude is asking this kind of question, and at the same time he lives with his mom, eats junk food every day, and jerks off 5 times a day. So, because you take some ashwagandha, for example, you won't solve the problem of your low testosterone level. The secret is that before you increase your testosterone, you first need to eliminate the cause of why is it low. And we're gonna make it by affecting 2 things: your physical state, your body, and your mental state. One of the most important things that affects and defines your testosterone level is your diet. I remember when I was suffering from depression and panic attacks and was like skinny fat. Do you know what I had for breakfast? It was some chocolate cookies and sometimes a sandwich with peanut butter or mayo. And then during the day I could drink a whole liter of soda or sweet tea and go eat a bunch of fast food with my homies. Only fast carbs. Only sugar. What is happening to your body when you eat mostly sugar? Every time you consume it, your body, your pancreas in particular, produces the hormone insulin, which is needed to normalize the glucose levels in your blood. When you eat sugar all the time, your body constantly produces insulin, and eventually you get such a thing as insulin resistance. Because of constant doses of insulin, your body stops perceiving it. The same story as with dopamine, by the way. And this is how diabetes actually appears. People do not produce their own insulin anymore, so they just do the injections. All the food that leads to spikes of sugar level in your blood, and accordingly insulin, causes the inflammation of the body and reduces your testosterone level. Those are all types of sugar, bread, all processed artificial food, even rice, that is food with high glycemic index. And this is not to mention the fact that sugar is an excellent food for your pathogenic intentional microflora. And in your intestines, by the way, where 90% of the whole serotonin is synthesized, the hormone which is responsible for your confidence and for your calmness. I'll tell you this, if you can give up all of this stuff and last like 3 weeks, you will be stunned. You will literally become a Superman. Or at least like a guy from Limitless. I swear to you, my state when I used to eat sugar all day long and how I feel now, it is just 2 different people. If you constantly eat sugar and you're barely physically active, you're just not only your testosterone drops, you also begin to grow fat. Your blood vessels clog up and so on. Therefore, it is necessary to move, and move a lot. Men were designed by nature as a biomachine that should move constantly, run after prey, hunt, fight. Our sedentary lifestyle is basically unnatural. That's why we're all going to the gym right now. So I'm joking. I do not advise you to start running like 50 kilometers right away, because running is a thing that you need to prepare for. Given that most people today have terrible biomechanics of the whole body, we got a crooked back, we got a different length of our legs, and barely few of us have a decent running technique. Almost all people while running land their foot on the heel, and this is wrong, by the way. Without proper training and preparation, running can do only harm. So start like with 10 minutes run. It is not a secret that testosterone is hugely increased by training with weights. In particular, exercises on large muscle groups, as they call basic exercises, bench press, squats and deadlift. And again, it is extremely important to follow the right technique so not to harm yourself. So, a basic principle. What's in your head determines your hormones, and your hormones determine what's in your head. And the main enemy of testosterone is, of course, stress. I remember when I lived with my parents, it was a constant stress. I always heard like, do that and do this and take this away and blah blah blah. And because you're constantly tolerating these things and do what you're made to do, you will always have high prolactin. And if you even start quarreling with them, then you immediately will have a high cortisol as well. And in general, you can forget about high testosterone level. I understand very well that this is pretty dumb advice that many people like to give, like, well, if you have toxic people around you, then just get rid of them. Like, what the how am I supposed to get rid of my parents, right? But try at least to minimize the amount of communications with people who cause you to stress. If there is an opportunity for you to move out from your parents, do it as soon as possible. Paradoxically, but your relationship with your parents, when you see them less often, will get better. I have a great relationship with my parents right now. And only when I moved out from my parents, I rented an apartment, I felt some kind of control over my life. Yes, I had a lot of responsibilities and duties. I had to somehow pay for my apartments and buy some food. I had to think about how to make money. I started doing my own business. But at the same time, I felt that I was the master of my life, you know. I have my own territory, I have my own finances, I don't have to report to anyone. All these things significantly boost you as a man and eventually increase your testosterone level. A lot of men underestimate this thing, this feeling of control over their lives. They live with their wives or girls who do not respect them, constantly humiliating them, demand something, and therefore the man is under constant stress. As a result, he has low testosterone, but he thinks that if he takes some magic supplement, then his testosterone level will immediately take off. That's not how it works. Now, the very important thing you need to understand is that you can have 1000 points of testosterone and still feel like shit. The thing is that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much testosterone you have in your blood, it matters how much of it receptors have caught, and it directly depends on your dopamine level. Like, imagine a dude who watches porn all day, eats fast food and plays video games. If you inject him like 100 units of testosterone, will he feel better? No. Will he immediately get motivation and taste of life? No. Why? Because his dopamine system is destroyed. Therefore, we restore our dopamine system, our dopamine and testosterone receptors, and then even if you have 500 or 600 units of testosterone, you will feel good because it has all been absorbed. So that's it, guys, some basic advices. Check out my socials in the description to find much more useful content on how to be a man. I will see you.